Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Star Wars Mark of Balance podcast. I am Mark, and today we're getting into our second interview, which is fitting because this is probably the oldest person I've talked to Star Wars about in my whole life, other than my sister Jen. And then also, to add on to that, one of my oldest friends since first grade, yeah, so 6 or 7 years old. So going strong for over 15 years, which is kind of crazy to put in perspective. Mr. Troy Miller.
Hey, what's going on? Happy to be here.
And I'll probably start this off with a little story for back in the day to prove how long we've been friends with Star Wars. I don't know if you'll specifically remember this, but I think it was probably, if Revenge of the Sith came out in 2005, we were 7 or 8 years old, and I think one day we planned on having a, was it a play date back then? Because we were so
young. I think it was a play date.
Weird to say now. But I think I asked you to come over, and I was going to ask you trivia questions about the Revenge of the Sith. I think I wrote them down on note cards. I don't know if you specifically remember that. If you don't, that's fine, but I somehow remember it.
I don't think I do remember that.
They were like the easiest questions, but I thought I was so cool for thinking of trivia questions. I think you literally came over and answered all three in like 2 seconds. I was like, okay, that was fun. But yeah, I just wanted to start off with a little story there. Yeah, so I think I'll just get into the interview with the boy Troy and hear his Star Wars story. So what is your either first memory of Star Wars, or what do you think got you hooked on Star Wars?
First memory-wise, I really don't have too much of the prequel movie kind of memory that comes up. I know now if I go back, I watch Phantom Menace a lot. Mm-hmm. I just feel like I kind of have a little connection to that. Mm-hmm. I'm not really sure why, but I know Star Wars-wise, my first real memory, I would say, is probably somewhere in Disney. They had Star Tours down there, and that was about it at the time. But I lived an hour and a half away. My family loved going. And I just remember being in the store next to Star Tours, which was called Tatooine Traders. And every time I was in there, I wanted to buy everything. And I remember when I was little, I had the little Padawan braid.
Oh, gosh.
It hooked around your ear. And then I had the old school plastic lightsabers where you had to flick them out.
Right.
And they made the noise. They didn't light up or anything.
And they had the little amount sticking out. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had one of them. So that's probably the oldest memory I have. But movie wise, it would absolutely be Attack of the Clones. I would say is the first movie that really sticks out in my mind.
I'd say the clones are a big part of childhood specifically.
Between Attack of the Clones and then Clone Wars, the original, the OG on Cartoon Network.
Yeah, the
really
cartoony one.
The odd cartoon one. Yeah, those are probably my first real memories of Star Wars.
Right. And what was the when did Star Tours start in Disney? I thought it was newer, but I guess not.
It was old. I want to say probably before both of us were born was when they had
Really?
it. Yeah, it's
I didn't know that.
It's old. If you look at when it all started, the way it is now is so much different than how it used to be. They used to have one scene, you would do the little simulation thing, and you would always end the same way, whatever. And now they integrated all the movies, all the sequels, all the prequels, all of them. They're all integrated, which is pretty cool and interesting.
I freaking love Star Tours. It is so cool.
I love it. That's one of the only rides that really just makes me just feel real
weak in the knees.
Real iffy
weak in the
knees.
Weak in the knees. That's funny. So on the subject of talking about Disney and going back for Star Tours, what would probably be your favorite Star Wars memory? I know obviously something recent probably would take the top spot.
I'll go recent. I'll stay away from recency for now, but I would say seeing Revenge of the Sith in the theaters, or even seeing The Force Awakens, which a lot of people like The Force Awakens out of the sequel trilogy, but I just remember for me and for us really, it's hard to remember the old times of being a kid and seeing the movies in the theaters. Mm-hmm. But I know for sure the goosebumps that I felt when I heard the intro play and see Star Wars flash up on theater, and just that being your real memory is, oh my God, that was just so crazy to me.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing, however you feel about Force Awakens, that hype before it came out, and then that midnight premiere of seeing Force Awakens and seeing Star Wars on the screen, especially because when you grew up, like you said, with Star Wars, we were really young, so it's like kind of faint memories, but like actually seeing like boom Star Wars on the movie theater screen, that was like
yeah, I mean it was crazy. Like I think I would say probably the movie that I remember the most before Revenge of the Sith was probably, what was it, the Clone Wars animated movie.
Yeah,
so the one,
Cartoon Network.
Yeah,
one.
It was the one where they kind of introduced the whole series of the new animated Clone Wars. Do you remember that with Christophsis?
Oh, yeah, we went for my birthday.
Yeah,
that one year, yeah,
that was like the movie that probably sticks out the most besides Revenge of the Sith, where I can remember like actual things.
Right.
But, I mean, now it's hard to think about what I remember because I've seen every movie 100 times, and I could probably pick out specific scenes nowadays.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, now to get the more recent, probably my favorite Star Wars memory was Galaxy's Edge in Disney.
Yeah.
Came back probably 3 weeks ago. I went with Lauren, my mom, my dad, and the whole thing was just breathtaking. Like, it was the first place we went to.
Lauren's Troy's girlfriend, by the way.
Yeah.
Shout out to Lauren.
Yeah, shout out Lauren. The whole thing was breathtaking. I'm not going to go into too much details.
Right,
I know you're trying to get that fresh experience yourself, but I mean, it was all just unbelievable. The 2 rides they have are insane. The Millennium Falcon, Smuggler's Run.
Yeah, that one is like so cool.
Yeah, as you know, so me and my dad got to pilot that while my mom and Lauren are in the back as the gunners just shooting away. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it was really incredible. Like, it got to the point where our last day came, and that was like our spot. That was like our first spot of the day when we were going to hit all 4 parks, and I was like, Lauren, like, I don't want to leave.
Right.
Like, I want to stay here. I'm like, there's so much to do. They have a bar. They have a couple restaurants I actually didn't eat at. I mean, they have experiences. You can build droids, build a lightsaber, which I did.
Yeah. Lightsabers in the studio, everyone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's in the studio. I mean, the whole thing was just, like, it was breathtaking to me. If you ask Lauren, she'll say that my reaction when we got into the world was underwhelming, but when she would have conversations with me, I seriously would stutter and not know what to say, because I'm like, Lauren, I'm like, I understand that I didn't like shed tears when I saw the Millennium Falcon, but I was like, the thoughts that were going through my head, I said I couldn't put together like what I was seeing, what I was living. It was it really was something crazy, and I urge all Star Wars fans to go there, at least, even if you're not a Disney fan. Go to Orlando, go to Florida for a week.
Yeah.
Just take one day to go there. It's so worth it.
Yeah. I feel like that it's different for everyone, the reactions. Like, some people, obviously, they like break down.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's not taking away from them, but it's like, it would be the same for someone like you said that didn't break down. Like, it's the same like feeling, like you just don't know how to express it. And that's everyone that I've talked to says it's like a out of body, like
it is,
like it transports you there. It's like crazy.
I mean, like, thinking about it now, like, I'm getting goosebumps again thinking about it, just because, like, that's one of the things that I can relive in my head every single time, and just be like, that feeling that you just don't know what's really happening. Like, is this actually real? Like, you can actually live in the movie at that point. It was unbelievable.
And do you think the masks took away the immersions at all while you were there?
I would say a little bit, because rather than have characters, like when they first opened, they had, I believe they had Kylo, Stormtroopers, Chewbacca, Rey.
Yeah.
They were all kind of would walk around and interact with people, but due to COVID and due to kind of the social distancing, they just had their own little like stage areas, I guess you could say.
Okay, so you had to go to them. Okay.
Yeah, so they would come out every once in a while. I mean, they still were fun, but where you lost that kind of character interaction, like walking through the world, the mask part of it allowed you to get on things so much easier.
Yeah, it's like a trade-off.
Yeah, so like Smuggler's Run, whereas in the past I think it's been like up to almost like 2 hours of a wait time. I think the longest we waited, I think the sign said 40 minutes, but we probably waited 30 tops.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Which was really nice. And the way that they're doing it now is you can't, if you don't have like a full party, for the Smuggler's Run, you can ride with 6 people. If you have 4, you just stay in usually with the 4 unless there's a group of 2 that comes in. And then if not, you would then just kind of ride the 4 of you. Like when we went with my parents and Lauren, it was just the 4 of us. Right. But when me and Lauren went to ride separately, we were the 2 engineers all the way in the back, and there was a family of 4 kind of like in front of us doing the other stuff.
Okay,
so yeah, everything's like plexiglass, which is a little weird, but other than that, I mean, Rise of the Resistance, you just have to get up early and get a boarding pass. And that's about it, which is a little annoying, but got it. We were 2 for 2, so can't complain about that.
And the cantina, that's probably my most anticipated when I get there. Like that, just trying to think about being in a cantina like in New Hope, crazy. And I've seen some of like the drinks and like what they look like and just the whole atmosphere of it. It just sounds like that would be such a cool experience.
It is. It's so cool to sit there and just the waiters and the waitresses, they all are in character. Right. So they're not dressed up or anything like that. They're in their usual, Black Spire Outpost kind of stuff. But they walk around, they serve you. I think when it came to like paying for the check, if like you hand like whatever you handed them, they were like, oh, like Imperial credits, like we don't take those anymore.
Got them.
And so then they talked and like, all right, we'll talk to Olga, and they're like, Olga's not very forgiving, but we'll see what kind of mood she's in. Right. And it's just cool like to have people kind of play around in that. Some of the drinks are weird, but they're good. Like one made my mouth numb. Just weird.
Little space stuff, huh?
It was interesting. And then another one, we got an oversized Jello shot that you ate with a spoon.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't know what it was, and I was curious. And as you know, my curiosity can get the best of me sometimes.
Must try.
So me and Lauren were like, yeah, sure, let's give it a try. And it literally came out in like a little saucer kind of thing, almost it kind of looked like a Pringles lid, is what it kind of, just a little bit bigger to put it in perspective. And it was just Jello with alcohol, and then there was like dried blueberries, dried tomatoes, and Pop Rocks on it.
Tomatoes?
No, sorry, strawberries, not tomatoes.
Tomatoes.
Same bread, healthy stuff.
Was it good at least?
Yeah, I mean, me and Lauren loved that. Was like one of our favorite things.
Okay,
it was wild because like you'd go in with a spoon, and it had like consistency of Jello, but if you got the Pop Rocks, it just was like. Obviously, it popped, and you're just kind of like, all right, like, I think I like it. And all right. It tasted good. I highly recommend that.
Galaxy's Edge Jello shots. Don't forget about them when you go.
Yeah, worth it.
If you can, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
So, you've been mentioning, the Disney employees being in characters, so I gotta ask, who is your favorite Star Wars character? And if you can't pick one, which is fine, because I totally get it, top 2-ish.
Okay. Top 2, I can go off the top of my head. From being a prequels kid and a Clone Wars kid, Obi Wan Kenobi, Mace Windu, by far.
Boom.
I mean, how can you not love Samuel Jackson for one?
You can't. Love.
Love that man every single time. Order 66 comes, Anakin comes into the chamber, where he's about to kill Palpatine. I'm like, come on, just don't do it this time.
Come on.
You can just let him live like he deserves to live. And
you want it to change every time you watch it.
Every single time you watch it, I'm like, come on, like he can do it this time. Like it's gonna happen.
Yep.
I mean, he's easily like my favorite. Or not my favorite, but top 2 favorites. The lightsaber I made. I chose purple for Mace Windu. And then Obi Wan Kenobi, I mean, he's the first Jedi that you really see on screen with Liam Neeson, of course, with Qui-Gon. But I mean, I just feel like everyone who's a Star Wars fan, or at least a guy Star Wars fan who thinks about it, you can connect to Obi Wan Kenobi in some sort of way. And I just think that to me that was what brought me into really like loving Star Wars, was seeing his character start off as a Padawan, and he kind of just slowly makes his way up like Jedi Knight, Jedi Master, and taking on Anakin when he clearly is just not ready for it.
He's not into it,
he's not ready for it. And from Phantom Menace, you can see he just doesn't want it. Like he calls Anakin a pathetic light form.
Right, yeah.
So I mean, you just can kind of connect to him where you start out really not liking someone, and then as you get to kind of know them and act as their father figure a little bit, just that connection you get, and which leads to the eventual heartbreak in Revenge of the Sith. He was the reason why when I was little I had the Padawan braid. I mean, he was probably the person that really pushed me into Star Wars, and now the fact that he's getting his own standalone, like
with the incomparable Ewan McGregor.
I mean, anything with him, I'm a huge fan of.
Absolutely.
I think he's a great actor, and I think the way he portrayed Obi-Wan, like even if you didn't like the prequels, I feel like you have to like him.
He was the best part.
Yeah, and the way
I think everyone can agree with that.
The way he played Obi-Wan was incredible. The way he portrayed just that heartbreak in Revenge of the Sith, it really was insane.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of them, and then I will say, as like a honorable mention, Ahsoka is definitely getting up there for me.
Yeah. Well, I think the best part about Obi-Wan and Ahsoka is, unlike Anakin, you see them almost through every stage. And you see them grow, like Anakin you see grow up, but he goes from like a kid all the way to like a very old teenager between movies. Obi-Wan, it's just subtle changes, which I think you get to know him better because it's just incremental steps forward. And the same thing with Ahsoka. Like, you see Ahsoka from like young to just a little bit older, but like it's such a big change across. And then even from Revenge of the Sith to New Hope, I mean, it is a big jump, but at the same time, I think it's just because the way Ewan and Alec Guinness, they both kind of sound like each other, so it was like a nice transition.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And that's why I really like Obi-Wan. And his sense of humor is just...
Oh my god.
It's so funny.
It's just,
He has the charm and the wit of Han Solo, which is great, without just like copying Han Solo, which is what I really like, is when, you know, they draw from old characters but make it their own, and that's what I think was great about him in the prequels.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. I mean, the wit that he has throughout the movie, and it's subtle. He's not...
Yeah, exactly.
It's, from listening to your dark side of Last Jedi... And they talk about the forced comedy that they just shove down your throat.
Yeah, it's very awkward.
It's awkward at times, but then if you just think back, and you know, everyone hates the prequels, but you listen to my man Ewan, the stabs he just throws in there.
He's got some jabs in there.
Are awesome, and I just feel like that's the comedy that you need in a Star Wars film,
right?
Unless it's Solo, like I thought Solo had a lot of comedy, but that's because Han Solo's character. He's like that comedic relief throughout all the movies.
Right.
So I just feel like that was the right time to do it, and they forced it in the sequels, but, you know, I didn't mind it.
Yeah,
whatever.
Attack of the Clones, I love when they're in the Geonosis thing, and Anakin's like, we're here to rescue, and he looks up, he's like, good job. Yeah. I love it.
I just don't understand how can you not laugh at that. And I think a funny scene that's not even meant to be funny now is when Obi-Wan is first captured and he's in his like hollow jail, and Dooku is walking around telling him literally exactly what is going to happen, and he's just like, nah. Just like, I'm like, it's funny because you just, at the time obviously no one knew, and then you get to Revenge of the Sith and you're like, this man knew it.
Right.
And then another thing that I just wish happened in the prequels is just when Anakin is about to decapitate Dooku, I just wish Dooku would look at Palpatine and just go, he's a Sith Lord, he's been pulling all the strings, that's it, it's him, he did it, like, because there's no way they would believe him, but I just think it would just be something that just, a slight little...
Something in the back of their head, it would kind of be interesting if they did that. But yeah, no, for real.
I just think it would be funny. I mean, obviously Star Wars isn't always meant to be funny, but there are times where I put comedy in scenes, I'm just like, what if this happened?
Right, yeah, no, Obi-Wan throughout all in that scene where he brought up where Count Dooku like literally explains what is going to happen, I think is such a cool thing, and I think that's what's great about the prequels is like when you see all the movies together and then you go back and watch them, they drop all like the hint, like you know something's gonna happen with Anakin. The way they drop the subtle hints and like show to the Jedi that they literally are so blinded, like that they literally will get told this is gonna happen, and they're like, no, not happening.
No, they can't happen. Not under our watch, Chief.
Not for us. We got Mace Windu and Yoda. It's not happening.
I like for example, like the subtle nods in the Phantom Menace, the first movie. They literally say, who was killed, the apprentice or the master, and it literally zooms in on Palpatine's face. Yeah. And it's just like, okay.
And they have no idea.
And just like the way he talks to Maul and talks about how, well, Darth Maul at the time, now known as Maul.
Yeah.
I mean, the way he talks to him about how he's going to, like, the power is going to change in the Senate and all that stuff, it is kind of cool. I mean, Palpatine, underrated character. People don't realize that.
Right, yeah. His like manipulation of the whole thing is just crazy. And then in the Clone Wars, when you watch the Clone Wars, it gives you specific like events where like he has a hand, you see him change the battlefield from like his office, and it's like it's pretty wild.
And then I got one character, I've said it every single time I see it.
Okay.
My girl Shak T.
Oh yeah.
She's killed. If you haven't seen it, you just got a YouTube Shak T deaths. She dies, I think 5 times in different Star Wars things.
And the funny is it's like live action and in Lego.
Yeah, she dies in Lego. She dies twice in live action.
Yeah.
Both deleted scenes for Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. They decided they couldn't pick, so they said, no, we're not picking either of them. So she literally dies twice in that, and she dies in The Force Unleashed, either 1 or 2. But and then I think that's it. I think that's only
those are the 4 I know
4 times.
Yeah.
But I mean, how do you? Oh, she's a very important Jedi. How do you not kill her? Like,
right. I know that's the thing. Like, she's so. In the Clone Wars, like, she's so, like, dignified, you respect the hell out of her.
But you can't even give her the decency of killing her on screen. But I mean, I guess they couldn't decide how to kill her, so they just killed her 4 different times.
Right, and then I don't even think any of them made it into the movie. So like,
no,
it was just assumed.
Yeah,
she died.
The only time in an actual cutscene of anything was in the Lego Star Wars game. That's the only time she actually died.
Yeah, keep going. I just thought of something, but finish your thought.
I'm pretty sure that's the only time she actually dies in, like, on screen. In part of like an actual thing where you don't have to go into the deleted scene.
I just thought of something. All right, Bad Batch is coming up.
Yeah,
and there's the trailer where they're on Kamino, and Shaak Ti is the general overseeing the clone production on Kamino.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll finally see the canon death of Shaak Ti in Bad Batch?
You'd like to think, but at the same time, apparently, according to Revenge of the Sith deleted scenes, she was on General Grievous' ship and died.
But those are deleted scenes. Those might not be canon.
She was in the Jedi temple. If you haven't seen that scene, it's hilarious. I'm sorry. Death isn't funny, but it is a hilarious scene. Because Anakin just walks in, she's just sitting there meditating while literally everyone around her is getting killed, and she's meditating like she can't feel everyone dying. And she just goes, "What do you want, Skywalker?" And then a light goes through her chest.
God.
It is so bad, but it's such a funny scene. And then, I mean, maybe finally in Bad Batch.
Wow.
A real
I think canon. I just got that.
I hope so, because, like, she, according to the Clone Wars, like, she's such a prominent Jedi and so respected by all the clones.
Yep.
And, of course, all Jedis are usually respected by the clones. But, I mean, she deserves the proper on-screen death.
Oh,
I really think she does.
Yeah, I think that's gonna happen. I think they're gonna turn on her at Kamino only because the trailer shows like Sidious giving the order or something like that on Kamino in like a hologram, and I just remember she was such a big part of the cadets and like them getting trained on Kamino. So like we know she probably is there, so that'd be really. I mean, not cool, but it would be good that she finally gets
she gets the closure she deserves.
A proper send-off,
nice to
if
add
anything.
to the list, too. Make it 5, for sure.
Right, absolutely. So probably do the last question here. Everyone always has their list, but what is your favorite Star Wars movie?
Oof.
I know.
It's always so hard to pick.
It's like picking children.
Yeah, it really is. I love all 9 of my children equally.
Right. Yeah.
You don't.
No, you don't.
No, there's some that you hate.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so tough. If I'm in the mood to watch a Star Wars movie, I will say I probably turn on either. It's a choice of 3 movies. It's usually the 3 I turn on.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
Those are
good 3.
Yeah.
Great 3.
Yeah. If I'm in a nostalgic type of mood, I'll watch A New Hope. That's usually my one.
Yep.
But I'd probably say all-time favorite. I mean, Revenge of the Sith, just because of the connection I kind of have to it.
Right.
Being that it's really like I said, Attack of the Clones, like my first real movie memory.
Mm-hmm.
But favorite, everything about it, like the emotional strings it pulled the whole time, it has to be Revenge of the Sith. Because when I was little, like I didn't know what happened.
Right. You were just like, whoa.
Yeah. You know, I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know that. I knew Anakin was Darth Vader, but it was spoilers. But I didn't know at the same time.
Right,
kind of
you
thing.
didn't.
Like, you didn't just piece it together because you were little. You just saw blasters and lightsabers and stuff. But yeah, I mean, Revenge of the Sith gotta be my top one. I would like to go a ranking list of mine, actually,
of course,
if you don't mind.
All right.
So I'll start from the bottom.
Okay, we're going from we're doing Skywalker only, not all the movies. Like Rogue One, we're leaving Solo out.
We'll do Skywalker only because you can hate me for it. I love Rogue One. I love Solo.
I love Rogue One.
Yeah,
I think Rogue One's great.
No one's gonna hate me for loving Rogue One.
Yeah.
Everyone liked Rogue One.
Rogue One was great.
Solo is where you're gonna get the people who are gonna hate. But I mean, I love Solo. I think cheesy.
Yeah,
it's like not he got his name Solo from a guy saying, "Oh, you're alone, Han Solo." Like, come on, dude. But I do like how it kind of pushed his story forward. I liked the origin of it all.
Yeah.
I liked kind of how he got sucked into like the smuggling life.
Right. It was like a blockbuster, summer movie. Like it was fun.
I actually do hope that we get a second one.
I think it'll be on Disney Plus.
I think it will be as well. Yeah. Even if I would be okay with a series.
I think is better for it. To be honest,
I think so too because I just feel like there's so much that you can explore in different episodes of a series rather than a movie.
Right.
I mean, like how can you not put something when you have Maul like when you put
Yeah,
Paul back on the
they
screen
really,
alive.
yeah, they really like put themselves out there.
I mean, how can you not go back on it? But anyway, sorry.
All right.
I digress.
All right, so 9 saga films,
so we'll
starting
go-
at the bottom.
Yeah, so 9 starting at the bottom. I gotta go Attack of the Clones.
Okay, that's fine.
As much as it connects to me,
Right.
I
get
it's
it.
just not a strong movie. I mean,
It's
Anakin and
not.
Padme is really cringy.
It's very cringy.
Yeah. Hayden
Yeah.
Christensen does not deserve the hate for that, though. It's the script
That
he
was
was
the script,
given.
yeah,
he
absolutely.
acted it beautifully.
Gotcha.
So Attack of the Clones got to be 9.
Uh-huh.
I gotta go Last Jedi probably at 8.
Okay.
Which is that's the
that's
controversial one,
fine.
but I think
I get it.
makes sense. I mean, I like Rise of Skywalker a lot.
Okay.
I do, but it's still got to be my 7th one for me.
Okay.
I like Force Awakens.
Force
but
Awakens, 6.
That's gonna be 6 for me.
Okay.
Then Phantom Menace 5.
Strong.
Yeah, people hate that too. I like Phantom
I like
Menace a
Phantom
lot,
Menace.
but I mean, I guess we're prequel kids. So.
Right, yeah.
So then 5. So then I'll probably go A New Hope. No, not A New Hope there. No, yeah, A New Hope there.
No,
Yeah.
New Hope at number 4?
Yeah, New Hope
okay.
at 4.
Episode 4, number 4. That works.
And then I probably gotta go Empire, Return of the Jedi,
Okay.
Empire, Revenge of the
Revenge of
Sith
the
for me.
All right.
Now again, those aren't the best movies.
I'm
not
opinion,
ranking the best
yeah.
movies here. I'm not saying that these are the best movies in my opinion.
Right.
It's just the movies that if I'm gonna watch them,
Yeah.
I'll go back and watch them, and movies that I thought were
Right,
fun. I would say.
Yeah,
I mean,
this is not an objective ranking. This
yeah.
is
I mean,
personal.
A New Hope is not like fourth. Like I think
That's the crazy. Yeah.
That's an unbelievable movie, and once I get to my top 4, you can really interchange them depending on the given day.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It really depends on the day. Like, do you want
Yeah.
to feel like all the emotions? I'm
Yeah.
throwing on Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, and if Force Awakens wasn't really a direct
Yeah,
New Hope
that's
cut,
the thing.
I'd put up higher because I thought it was a very good movie.
It is a lot of fun to watch. Yeah,
I saw Han kind of moving on from there just because
Yeah.
there's a lot of rumors that Harrison Ford was over
Just
it.
didn't wanna be
yeah,
there.
he just didn't want to be there anymore.
yeah.
So I could that made sense to me that he was gonna have to go, but I didn't think it was gonna be like Kylo that did. I thought it was gonna be something
Else. Yeah.
So I thought that was really really cool.
The comedy in that movie was good.
Yeah,
that
was
that
perfect.
movie actually did really do
Yeah, I
comedy
thought
well.
so. I thought so too.
Yeah.
I mean, The Last Jedi. I mean, you obviously just talked about it, so
Right.
don't need to go into detail of that. But I thought really liked it the first couple times I saw it. Then I was like, okay, like I liked the beginning. I like the end. I could probably cut out a lot of the middle part.
No, there's some trimming that could have been
like
done.
Cantabite. Like, dude, miss me with that. I mean,
Right.
come on.
I get it.
Yeah. So then what else was down? Oh, and then Rise of Skywalker. You talked about. We've talked about it before
Yeah.
too. It's
Yeah.
a fun movie. They could have done a lot more.
Right.
I do think Carrie Fisher's passing had a lot.
It
to
hurt
do
it.
with that.
It definitely hurt it a
Because
lot. Which,
if you look at all the stuff that's been coming out since then, it's been hey, like this is really what we were gonna do, but Carrie Fisher and like she had such a huge role,
Yeah.
which is terrible.
I think that Duel of the Fate script, the Colin Trevorrow, that strip sounded so cool with the. I think they went back to Coruscant or something, and there was like a big rebellion or something.
Yeah.
Like that sounded so. And the name Duel of the Fates, like that's a sick name.
Yeah, I mean, it just is really.
That's really unfortunate.
Yeah, it is really unfortunate. I mean, it was kind of funny to me. Just a lot of this stuff is funny because I just love where people's minds can go.
Yeah.
And I guess in one part of the script, it was like Hux was from Coruscant. So, and he was like secretly like a Jedi enthusiast, and he had like
Really?
yeah, and he had just a whole bunch of like memorabilia and stuff.
Huh.
And one of them was Mace Windu's lightsaber.
Okay.
And like when it was all going downhill, because he was still like a super like he was behind. He wasn't a spy or nothing. He was like the guy still trying to pull the strings and win the battle for the First Order. And he goes full like Japanese style like lightsaber to he kills himself.
Oh
out.
my
Yeah.
gosh!
Yeah,
Wait,
was
was there a concept art of that or something? I don't know if I saw a concept art of that
there was
or
concept
something.
art of him with I think with a lightsaber or him
Okay.
like in his palace, whatever it was.
Yeah, that's a pretty
and he
cool
had,
storyline.
yeah,
because it
was
makes
a
him
cool-
actually like useful in this.
Yeah.
Because I feel after Force Awakens, he kind of just like becomes
Yeah,
unnecessary.
It just was weird. But.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I think the concept art and the script, whatever, if it was a real script or not, but
Yeah.
those ideas seem very cool. But obviously, it's all
Yeah, I agree. I'm hopeful that there is actually such thing as like a director cut for Rise of Skywalker, because if you talk to JJ or from interviews with JJ Abrams, like he definitely seems not happy with the final project.
Okay.
Or final product.
Yeah.
It seemed like Disney really had their hands in on making things happen.
Do you think they would re-cut it and edit it, or you think they would just make it longer? Is that what he meant by the cut?
I don't know from how long was Rise of Skywalker? Like two and a half?
Yeah, they're all. I think they're all like 220.
I think I saw on whatever thing I saw. I want to say they said it was going to be about 3 to 3.5.
Jeez.
So yeah, definitely make it longer. Well, because I guess like not to spoil the script or whatever, but from what I saw, like apparently everything that Finn has to say throughout the movie to Rey is that he's like Force sensitive.
Okay.
And the scene where they're on the Star Destroyer and BB-8 opens the door, Finn's supposed to use the Force and open the door. So that's supposed to be his big like
reveal,
coming out reveal type.
And you think they shot all that?
Apparently they did.
Wow.
Apparently they shot stuff with like instead of all the voices, they had Force ghosts. Apparently.
Oh my gosh, how could they not put that in?
But I think the thing was Disney was like, no. Like let
weird.
the past die. They were like, nah, we're Disney Star Wars now. No, they're not Disney characters.
That's
like,
so weird.
I don't know if that's obviously don't know if that's true. We don't know if anything's true.
Take everything with a grain of salt.
Yeah, because at the same time, like you heard something that was like, well, they wanted to do Force Ghosts, but they couldn't afford to pay like all the actors and actresses to come out just for like a scene.
I simply don't believe that.
Yeah, so I mean,
for Star Wars and how much money they make, that's crazy this year.
I agree.
All right, yeah, I think we hit everything. I mean, we got a lot out of Troy today. We got Galaxy's Edge. We got a Skywalker Saga ranking of movies. We got characters. We got some old memories. I mean, anything else you want to mention or talk about, Troy? The floor is yours.
Oh man,
the main man of the hour.
I mean, we really hit everything that I had in mind.
That was good.
I mean, I think we could sit here and talk Star Wars for hours on end.
Always.
It is kind of funny how similar and like we've known each other for so long now, and just how similar we can be in kind of our thoughts on stuff, but yet at the same time like still be different.
Your own, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what's really cool about Star Wars and everything like that. But yeah, I mean, it would be really cool if like we can get a nice trip. I know we've talked about it before.
Definitely,
Talked about it before.
Whether it be Galaxy's Edge or a Star Wars Celebration for sure.
I mean,
you got to witness the convention, man.
Yeah, I've been in for a Star Wars Celebration. It just sucked because COVID hit. It's tough. It hit like at the worst possible time because I know with baseball, like I never could get to it because it was always like right in the smack of the season. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, definitely would love to get to a Star Wars Celebration. Would love to get down to Galaxy's Edge like with you. With any of the other guys. We're not going to talk about. Yeah, we're not going to name names because they don't deserve it. But yeah, I mean, it would be awesome. I mean, Lauren's not a Star Wars girl, and she was like, "I love it."
She loved it. Yeah.
So I mean, it really is just something crazy and special. It can get a little pricey because if Lauren wasn't with me, I probably would have nothing in my bank account right now.
Right. Yeah.
Because I walked into the gift shop and I was like, I want that, I want that, I want that, I want that. Ooh, they have all those lightsabers. I want this one and this one, and like Lauren was with me. She's like, "You don't need it." And I'm like,
"You're right."
Like, but and she's like, "No." I'm like, "All right, fine. I don't need it." But yeah, I mean, it's the things you can buy, the drinks you can have. I mean, I had blue milk. I had green milk.
Oh yeah.
Finally, blue milk was one of the first things I got to drink there. Mm-hmm. I knew I had to. Also got it with their alcohol concoction. So that was nice. Highly recommend the alcohol blue milk.
The alcohol blue milk.
Yeah,
okay. Spiked blue.
Yeah, the spiked green. Got tequila in there, and I'm like,
no.
Listen, this could not end well for me. But I mean, it really is something special. I'd love to do it with everyone.
I'm sure we will at some point. And I think you brought up a good point with, you could talk to Star Wars about people, but, at the end of the day, you could have your own opinions. And that's what people need to learn on, not just Star Wars, but in the whole world, that it's, you could be friends with people for a while and you could agree on stuff, but at the same time, you could also not agree on a lot of stuff. So and I think that's a good point that you brought up. And definitely, I'm sure the Galaxy's Edge or the Celebration will be happening soon. I think Celebration next year is in Anaheim. I think they reschedule it, but who knows what next year will look like. But yeah, I think Troy, wrapped it up well for me. He made it easy. And I think that's where the interview will end. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know Troy seemed to have enjoyed himself.
I had a great time.
I'm sure he'll be back on the show.
Very thankful.
Episode or
very
some
thankful
point.
for you having me. Yeah, I would love to be back.
Of course.
I like being able to talk Star Wars, especially not just like straight up stuff.
Yep.
Thematically, I'm not
too much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I can't look at a scene and be like this.
Yeah,
this pushes that along. I mean, trust me, I love listening to it because it definitely opens my eyes a little bit.
Yeah.
but I just can't focus on it, but I can focus on a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, and you can't always make everything like super in depth because then you're just forcing it for sure. So
Yeah.
definitely, but yeah, I definitely plan to have more conversations with people. Definitely expand the show as much as possible, and obviously these interviews will continue happening. The next interview, I won't say the guest, but it's another longtime friend, longtime Star Wars goer, and I'm excited to share that one. But thanks for listening, Troy. Say goodbye to the good fans.
All right. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for listening to this episode of Star Wars Mark of Balance.
And may the Force be with you. Nice.
Yeah, that was good.